Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Call me Luke if you wish. Thank you for tuning in. Today is the GW38 transfer show, we'll call it. I'm having a bit of an issue with my internet, so if I lag a bit, bear with me. But congratulations on getting through the season. It is the final countdown, our final push. One transfer left. Make it count. Hopefully you'll get some information in this video to help you do that. If you got one transfer left, then you need to bring in someone that can help you win a mini league potentially. If you're like me and you've got to take a -8 or even a -12, then maybe a few of these transfers could help. I've got a couple of injuries in Yuri and Timber. I've also got Fabianski, who is getting no minutes, and I've also got my bench boost to play in Game Week 38, which I thought could have been a good way to finish, but I mean, it still would be. It'd be interesting to see how much I get, to be honest. I think I'll go Flappy to Raya at this stage, but we'll talk about that later on in the week. But today's not about me, it's about everyone. So let's have a look at some transfers. First things first, how many points will be expected to get this week? Now, it says Salah here is 7.8 points expected. But as we saw him getting hooked earlier for Liverpool, I'm not entirely sure if he's going to play the full game. He'll get a run out because it's the last game at Anfield. But much like Palmer, completely out of, well, you can say out of form, but out of luck, I guess, in terms of FPL points. Same with Saka, not playing overly well and not dominating the attacking part of the game. A lot of other Arsenal attackers are getting the points, which is frustrating. I mean, who would have thought Declan Rice would have been the best midfielder for Arsenal over the last few game weeks? That's interesting. You can see Watkins and Bailey there. Interesting to see Bailey. This is assuming they're playing full. Bailey should get more points than the likes of Rodgers, but that really should be Rodgers and or Asensio. And you can take Mellon out of the equation. Diogo Jota's down the bottom now. The conjecture is whether he's going to start or Nunez or Gakpo or even Chiesa. You just don't know. So watch this space. It's better to be safe. But first things first, we're going to focus on the players you probably do need to bring in, and it's Watkins for me. He's got Manchester United away, which, as we know, United could either be partying on the beach or have nothing to play for. They'll have nothing to play for regardless. But at 9 million, Ollie Watkins is playing really good. He's been very unlucky not to get returns in the last couple. He's already 25% owned. And he's got 5 goals and assists in his last 6 game weeks, so he's done pretty well, but he's unlucky not to get more. And those 5 goals and assists are at 1.99 XGI, which is amazing. It's really good. 75-minute man, so he's not really a 90-minute man anymore because they do have the likes of Mellon, Asensio, and previously Rashford on the bench. Some good buying for them in the January window. But 6 points expected. I reckon he'd hit double figures this week. So Ollie Watkins could be the first person you can go for up front. Second would be Evan Nielsen. Leicester at home. Leicester have had their game. They had their big game just before. Vardy got his 200th goal. That was their celebration. This bloke's only 5.8 million, only 3% owned. He's got 5 goals and assists in the last 7 at 4.13 XGI. So not quite as destroying XGI as Watkins was, but still very good. He's a 90-minute man. The expected points are only 4. I could see this bloke getting upwards of 7, 8, or 9. So if you need to replace the likes of Isaac and want to fit in maybe Saka alongside Salah, that could be a very good enabler. Wissa, away to Wolves, 6.9 million, 23% owned. Why is he so highly owned, considering Mbeumo's over 50? 11 goals and assists in the last 12 game weeks at 8 XGI. So almost 1.5 outscoring the XGI, which is phenomenal. 90-minute man. He's got 5 points expected. I expect him to do more. Got a goal and assist against Fulham, albeit in a losing effort. He's still got that goal and assist. So in terms of the forward transfers, this is what you're looking for. In the pink at the top is their XGI. The blue underneath that is the goals and assists. And the purple is the goals and assists for first XGI. So let's just read it first with Watkins. 24 goals, 17 XGI. That means for every XGI, 24 goals and assists. That means for every XGI, he gets 1.4. I did it on a percentage, otherwise it was too small. So 1.4, 140%. So that's 1.4 FPL points per XGI. So XGI of 17, 1.4 points is 24. So Ollie Watkins completely outplaying his XGI. Evan Nielsen is only 1.15 or 115%, however you want to look at it. He's got 15 goals and assists at 13 XGI. That being said, he wasn't always a starter, so him coming off the bench is very hard to pump up the XGI. You don't get as many minutes. Wissa, 120% or 1.2 XGI, 1.2 goals and assists per XGI. So 24 goals and assists, 18 goals this season. Phenomenal for Wissa. People were wondering what was going to happen after Ivan Toney left. He's pretty much done better, I think, especially his temperament. He will be the number one man next season. If Brentford start with good fixtures, he'll be in everyone's team, because I expect Mbuemo to be poached by another team, probably a European team or a team actually playing in Europe, whether they're in the Prem or elsewhere. But I expect Wissa to stay. So for those 18 goals and 24 goals and assists, 24 returns, that could really increase next season. So looking purely based on the stats, more bang for your buck is Ollie Watkins, 1.4 or 140%. But Wissa and Evan Nielsen are in there with a shout as well. Those are just the players I've been thinking of. If you've got other players you're thinking of, let me know, because it'll be very interesting about what the community is looking at. I don't want to do the same as all the other big content creators, because I think it's the last game of the season. Speaking of fun, and what's been a pretty average season for me in FPL, probably one of my worst on history, Bowen has been a lot of fun towards the end of the season. I've had him for 4.5, 5 weeks, or maybe 5 or 6 weeks now. Can't quite remember, but he's returned every week. Playing Ipswich away, expect them to finish really strong. Potter's got the team. I'm not going to say they're firing, but they're playing a lot better than they were. He's gone up to 7.8 million. He's only 14% owned, but in his last 7 game weeks, he's got 7 goals and assists at just 3.02 XGI, which is spectacular. So if he's on the last sheet, it would have been 200% or 200 as it was. So fantastic. He's the 90-minute man. He's a talisman. That 5 points should easily be doubled next week. Jared Bowen could be a hot tip this week if you don't already have it. A lot of people do. Away to Southampton is Arsenal. Now, you could insert a lot of different Arsenal players, but Bukayo Saka at 10.3 million, only 17% owned. His stats for the season aren't actually that flash. If you look at 17 goals and assists, I understand he was injured, but it's from 14.2 XGI. His minutes are also reduced. He gets subbed a bit, 75-minute man. He's still expected to get 6 points this week, and as we know, these players can dramatically outperform those points. So I expect him to probably get closer to 10. It just depends on whether or not they'll risk him. Do they need to? They're already 5 points clear of third. They might not need to worry about him starting him if, that's a big if he's injured or if he's still recovering from that injury, because he doesn't seem to be as explosive and dynamic as he once was, but maybe a good off-season relaxing could help him. We just never know. 75-minute man, that's the concern. 6 points, expect that to be higher. This bloke, Clive, at home to Leicester, as I said to you about Evan Nielsen, he's 5.9 million. Leicester should struggle against this team. Bournemouth have had a really tough last 10 game weeks. They haven't got many points at all. He's 10% owned. He's 18 goals and assists at 13.2 XGR, which is pretty phenomenal. He's only a 65-minute man these days, but the impact he has, and he's on penalties, could be very, very good for us moving forward. 5.2 points per week. 5.2 points expected this game week. If he gets goals, they're basically 9 pointers because he gets bonus as well, and he's on penalties. So if they get a penalty, you never know. Last but very not least, is he the greatest midfielder that the Premier League's ever seen? I know that all the Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester United supporters will be screaming right now, but away to Fulham, 9.6 million, just 14% owned. He's got 13 goals and assists, even though he's injured for the majority of the season, at 10.8 XGI. His farewell should be extremely fun to watch. His expected points is 5.0. Sergio Aguero came off the bench and scored twice against Everton in his last game for Manchester City. You'd expect KDB would suit a similar response or a similar outcome on his previous game. There's been a lot of conjecture about Manchester City this season, but one thing's for sure, they would definitely want to send him off with an absolute applause and send them off with a bang and confirm their Champions League game, which could very much be in the balance when they play Fulham. They're playing my team, Fulham. We've just beaten Brentford in a in a derby game. So we do not back up very well at all in terms of one win and one loss. So I don't think that I don't think Fulham will have it all their way, and I think that Man City could do very well this week. Let's have a look at the midfield transfer. Sorry, I'm lagging a bit there. I just want to see what's going on. All right, that's better. Let's have a look at the table. Similar table to what I did with the forwards. We'll go from top left around. Bukayo Saka, 17 goals and assists, 14 XGI. That gives him 1.2 goals and assists per XGI, 120%. Not too bad. We expect more from Saka, though. He's a premium midfielder, like it or not, and we expect him to be much, much better. I've got Wissa there, but that should be Kluivert. That's my fault. He's got 13 XGI and 18 returns, 140%. So Kluivert's stats are actually pretty good. They're right up there. Justin, I always call him Patrick for some reason. Justin Kluivert. On our last, I can see him being the player that outscores everyone in the last game of the season. So I think he could be a shout. KDB is 130%, 13 and 10. 13 goals and assists with 10 XGI. So 1.3 per XGI in terms of FPL points. Interestingly enough, I think he'll do very well this week. And Jared Bowen, 145. That's the highest. 22 returns, 15 XGI. I expect Jared Bowen to finish the season strong. He's done so well over the last few weeks. He's almost a must-have this week. It doesn't matter who he's playing. The team playing so well. And if you want to double up, my advice would be to go with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If you want to double up on City, geez, I don't know, mate. I guess you got to go Haaland. Will Marmoush even start? Who else starts for City? We just don't know. Double up on Brentford's a bit of a no-brainer. You got Sade or you got Mbuemo. And the double up on Arsenal. Now, you could either go Martinelli and Saka on the wings or chuck Rice in there and substitute either player. That would be what I would do. So let me know in the comments who you're backing, whether it's Saka, whether it's De Bruyne, or whether it's Ollie Watkins, or all of the above. And then we'll hopefully attack this final game week together. But that's all from me. Thank you very much for tuning in. My penultimate pod this week, or for this season, I should say. Hope all your arrows are green and your differential score hat tricks. My name's Luke. Thank you very much.